Find the Jordan season that matches that. You can't. People are like, oh, but Michael Jordan won MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same year. He did. So when are we talking Jordan's peak? Are we talking 1 year? Then LeBron's peak was higher.
When it comes to basketball fans today, respecting the past and honoring history has definitely become a lost art. Just look at the 80s, the 90s, and now even the 2000s. Each era is slowly becoming more underrated and less appreciated year by year. And when you think about the greatest player across those eras, it's of course Michael Jordan. One of the greatest peaks ever came in 1988 when he won MVP as well as Defensive Player of the Year. Now even fans who follow history don't fully realize just how dominant 1988 Jordan truly was. Back in the 80s, a lot of advanced stats and niche metrics simply weren't tracked. Yes, things like scoring titles, efficiency, and PER were recorded. But what's missing are his fourth quarter numbers, clutch time stats, mid-range efficiency, and even his left-hand finishing ability.
Is it true that Michael Jordan didn't have a left?
Shut the hell up.
Post up Oakley. Staying right with him inside. Jordan on the drive. And Gilmore's got it. Here they come 2-on-0. Showtime. Popular they are here. When can you remember? Help, Jordan. Ooh.
So for today's video, it's pretty simple. We're taking a closer look at 1988 Jordan by breaking down 3 early season games that I was able to access through film. The games that aren't available, I simply can't verify, and they barely exist online. So focusing on what I do have, the first 3 games on November 7th, 10th, and 14th, starting with opening night against Philadelphia, Charles Barkley vs. MJ in Chicago. This game is oddly historic because it marked Jordan's first game playing alongside Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant, who were coming off the bench behind Charles Oakley and Brad Sellers. Looking at Jordan's performance, he dropped 36 points, outscoring Barkley's 34. A classic Jordan game and a seamless carryover from his 1987 form. His scoring ability is fascinating, especially in the open court where he was simply unstoppable, combining smooth finesse with explosive aggression.
Flicked up the right side, Jordan, stutter steps in, running, scooping and scoring. The rebound, Jordan. Michael Jordan behind his back once, and then just 3 back to Jordan, and he jams for the right hand. Here's Henson.
No.
And
there he is
right
again.
Into the passing lane. Here comes Jordan. Down the lane, finger roll, got it. Dumped down to Henson, back to Cheeks, and nearly lost, and now it is. 3 to Jordan. Good night.
Damn! Now pausing right there for a moment. I've watched countless Jordan highlight reels, top 10s, top 100s, and yet those clips, I've never seen before. And even looking at Charles Barkley, just like Jordan, there are jaw-dropping plays that feel completely new. Watching these two in transition is pure magic. Looking deeper at Jordan's shot chart, his jumpers, mid-range attempts, and paint scoring, the majority of his damage in this game came inside the paint. And that number is impressive for 2 reasons. First, going 11 for 13 is insanely efficient. Second, consider the era. This was a center-dominated, paint-heavy league where the lane was always crowded. So for a 6 feet 6 inches guard to dominate inside like that against Philadelphia is incredibly impressive. He attacked the paint repeatedly with highlight-level plays. Now moving to Game 2 against the Hawks, Dominique Wilkins, the human highlight reel. In this game, Jordan wasn't as explosive scoring-wise and didn't even reach 30 points. But here's where it gets interesting. According to Basketball Reference, he had 29 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds. However, the TBS broadcast at the end of the game showed him with 29 points, 8 assists, and 7 rebounds. That's a small discrepancy we'll continue to see when analyzing 1988 Jordan. After watching the game, it's clear he actually had 8 assists, not 7.
Guarded by Whitman, gets the pick. Jordan feeds Gilmore, gets Willis in. Fusion problems. The Hawks hurting at point guard because of the absence of Doc Rivers. Gilmore.
He did it with his right hand and had to put reverse spin on it, and that's a much more difficult shot.
Into Gilmore, nice speed. Feed from Jordan. Controls the rebound, then lets it loose to Jordan. Nice speed to Sellers. Controls himself and lays it in. 16 now. They were down by 18. Jordan. Nice speed to Oakley. The free throws. Shot clock to 4 for Zine.
You try and regain your composure, especially if you're a player like Sellers, because you don't want to come out of the game.
Pulls back to a 17-point lead. Pippen in the paint. Banks it home.
Stopping there again for a quick point. You might think 1 assist or 1 rebound doesn't really matter, and for the most part, that's true. But when it comes to 1988 Jordan, he faces a lot of scrutiny today for so-called fake stats. What critics often overlook is the possibility that his stats might actually be undercounted. That's something we'll explore deeply in this series. But setting that aside for now, looking at this Hawks game, Jordan's overall scoring and playmaking stood out. Atlanta's defense, just like Philadelphia's, was constantly doubling him. And despite that pressure, his shot-making was unreal. Contrary to popular belief, Jordan was also a willing passer who consistently made the right basketball decisions.
Many of them are that they know that they have to be prepared for the Bulls from now on.
Off the glass.
That we talked about.
Nice feed to Pippen.
Now watch it again. To make the cut to the basket, the good pass when they go and they triple team.
18-point Bulls lead. 2:04 to go, first half. Jordan from 20 feet. Defense in this half. Shot clock to 10. McGee on Jordan. Spinning, banking, scoring. 27 in the game. They're doubling Jordan, as you're going to get to see an example of it here. Pippen to Jordan. Pulls up, scores, and he'll get the three-point opportunity. Jordan off two screens. Nice feed to Oakley. He's fouled.
Again, Michael Jordan is the type of player who's going to help make his teammates better. Now, he had that ability to go up for the jump shot. He could have taken it, but he had enough presence of mind to spot it. Look at the great spin move. He's up. He could shoot it, but he sees the man in a better position. The cardinal rule of basketball is Oakley draws the foul against contact. If you have a good shot, take it, provided one thing, that a teammate is not in a better position, and very few players who go up to shoot jump shots are able to still survey the floor and make a pass like that.
As for that Hawks game overall, it wasn't anything extraordinary, just a solid Jordan performance and a big win for the Bulls. Now here's the unfortunate part, the next two Bulls games aren't available on film, I couldn't find them anywhere. So we moved to Game 3 against the Indiana Pacers back in Chicago. This matchup featured a young Michael Jordan versus a young Reggie Miller. And in this game, MJ completely took over. He finished with 37 points, similar to his performance against Philadelphia. Once again, his shot-making, especially difficult shots, was incredibly diverse and impressive. Even 40 years later, it remains inspiring.
Full of holes out here, Slick. I think the Pacers can explore. Backdoor alley-oop short. That's where he ought not to be. Land to the big boys, and he went down there and got it rejected. He almost got a face on it. Jordan. And Chicago just getting it back, and there's Jordan. Sparrow. Jordan. Once it goes in his hand, you know it's going up. And there it goes. The guy goes down. Boy, they miss him tonight. Go get him. Go get him. Help. Help.
Damn.
That brings us to the final game in this breakdown, the third of 3 games that opened Jordan's 1988 season. Across these games, his performance was undeniably impressive, and the Bulls went 2-1. But what really stands out is the difference between verified stats and official NBA records. According to official stats, Jordan had 15 assists across these 3 games. But based on my review, he actually had 17, they missed 2 assists. Looking at steals, both the official count and my count match at 11. However, for blocks, the official record shows 6, while I counted only 4. So in Jordan's case, there are discrepancies in both directions. His assists are undercounted, while his blocks are slightly overcounted.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Now when it comes to Jordan's defense, stats like steals and blocks are important, but they don't tell the full story. Watching these games, his energy, intensity, and defensive instincts were off the charts. He was constantly playing the passing lanes, helping in the post, and applying pressure everywhere. It was unreal. Jordan looked completely locked in, almost possessed. Watching these performances, you'd think these were playoff games, not just early regular season matchups in a long 82-game season.
Scored 10. There's actually scored 11 of the last 13 points.
Every time. 45-34, Chicago. Sixers set up. Wingate fires. Not Neil Funk with Hubie Brown. Wingate. Still see the right wrist very heavily taped, but he played well last night.
Here's contact. He can score from the paint. Misses badly, goes to the floor. Rebound Livingston.
Here comes Wingate around the top off of McCormick.
Something. The guards are doing an excellent job right now hitting the perimeter shots.
He did not do early in the ball game. Spud Webb all the way, misses the left-handed layup, and Hawks can pull within 16 again if they get it to fall, but they don't. Pull to within 4. Rebound Jordan, hold it. Yeah.
McCormick, and there's Jordan. He jumped right in the passing lane again.
Game, you're murder. You'll be right there. It's the best in the league.
And there's Jordan again deflecting it.
So overall, what Jordan showed in these games was incredibly impressive. Beyond steals, blocks, and basic stats, his defensive presence was undeniable. Another key factor was his fourth quarter and clutch time performance. Across these games, Jordan scored 28 points in the fourth quarter, 10 against Philadelphia, 6 against Atlanta, and 12 against Indiana. He also added 2 assists, shot 10 for 21 from the field, and went 8 for 11 from the free throw line. On average, that's 9.3 points per game in the fourth quarter, which aligns with some of the highest marks in NBA history. Looking at his shooting profile, 14 for 34 on jump shots, 13 for 28 from mid-range, and an incredible 25 for 35 in the paint. These are the numbers we'll continue tracking throughout this 1988 Jordan series as we move forward. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time.